So we start building our new blog project, and step by step we will dive deeper into roles and permission. But for the beginning we do Laravel new roles. That will be our project name --auth. By default it will generate a new Laravel project with authentication included. Okay, it's installed. Then we do cd roles, do env, and we edit our database credentials and whatever we need. Okay, done with env. And actually in this course I will skip some parts which are not that relevant to authentication or roles and permissions. Otherwise this course will be like 2 days long. So to save you time, I will focus only the most important parts. And let's do the migration. So PHP artisan migrate. I already prepared a fresh new database, which is this one, and it's successfully migrated. And if we refresh our domain, which I also prepared beforehand, we have a fresh Laravel project and we can register. As a new user, I will use form filler Chrome extension. We register and we should be logged in at a dashboard. And we see the dashboard, and this is how default Laravel works. So I haven't written any line of code yet. What we will do now in the first lesson is we will add articles menu item here, and it will be available only for authenticated users. First, the database structure. We will start with two database tables, article categories and articles. So PHP artisan make model category -m, which is migration, and -f, we would need a factory for that. Okay, and also let's generate the articles at the same time, and then we'll get into the code. So model article -m and -cr, which means resource controller, to manage the articles. Right, and now let's fill it in. Okay, I've done it behind the scenes for you, and here's the result. So categories will be just one field name, and for that I've generated a seeder, so category table seeder, to seed some dummy data to help us. And it comes from the factory, which is in database factory, and we will fake the name. And then there's category table seeder, which will help us to create 10 fake categories. And then there's database seeder to launch that. So that's about categories, and also the model, probably the most important thing. I've added the fillable property name. So that's with categories. And for the articles, it's a bit more complicated. So title, full text, category ID as a foreign key, but it's nullable. Maybe someone will add an article without a category. And then same with fillable, 3 fields fillable. And now let's run PHP artisan migrate to migrate 2 tables, and also artisan db seed to seed 10 categories. And in our database we have articles empty, and we have categories non-empty. And now we can add a menu item here for articles, and that would lead to article controller. So to here it will be something like articles equals article all, and then we will return a view articles index with articles. Pretty standard stuff. And then I will fill in all the other methods for create form, update form, and delete and stuff like that. Now in our routes web, so here's probably the most important part of this lesson. We need to add route resource articles to article controller. Notice that Laravel generates article controller as singular, same as model. So the database table is articles, plural, but article controller is singular. That's the standard thing from Laravel. And now we need to protect that route resource, because if we don't do that, then anyone can access that. So pretty typical mistake, especially by junior developers, is to protect only the view part. So show or not show menu item. So let's add a menu item to our app blade. And default Laravel already generates us this. So guest blade command is what you would see if you are not logged in. Otherwise, if you are logged in, you have your username, you have your logout. So this part basically. And let's add another menu item to the left here. So let's copy a typical login, paste here. Route would be articles index, and this will be articles. We refresh and we see those articles, right? And here's what we see when we click the articles. Behind the scenes I've already created the form, so if you can click new articles, fill it in, save article, edit and delete that. So the whole CRUD form. But as I said, the typical mistake of a junior developer specifically is to protect only the front end, meaning hiding menu item. What if we log out and go to the same articles? We can still access it perfectly, which is wrong. So this is where you have to add some logic in your routes web and add a middleware. And there are a few ways how you can do it. If you have only one route, you can do middleware auth. Auth is a default middleware of Laravel. And then that URL would redirect us to login form. Also, you can assign that middleware in the controller or in the method. But personally, I'm not a fan of that. I would like to have all the middlewares specified in the routes web file in one file, so I would know all the rules for all the URLs in one place. So I wouldn't advise that. What I would advise is to do route group, especially in real projects. You will probably have more than one URL, right? So you have route group. The syntax is array of rules and then a callback function. Inside of that function, you would have all the routes. So we copy and paste, cut and paste to here. And instead of assigning middleware to each of the routes inside of it, we add it here as an array parameter. So middleware auth. And now our articles is protected. Not only the main articles, but any inside. So articles create, for example, it will also redirect to login. Finally, for the future, I want to remind you of what blade commands we have for the auth. Default Laravel suggests us guest and else, but also there is auth and else, which is the opposite. So you could have auth, then this part goes to else, and this part goes to the main auth, which is the opposite behavior. So whenever someone is auth, which means authorized, they get the proper URLs, and not authorized users get login register. So what we did just now was just flipping around blade commands. And as a result, we have the same behavior, nothing changed. I just wanted to show you two ways how you can view your blades, auth and auth or guest and guest. In the next lesson, we will assign multi-tenancy. So add a user ID to articles table and prevent other users from viewing your articles.